Story time. This is a dating one, so listen up. This guy and I have been DMing on Instagram, and he's like, you know what, let's go on a date. We've talked a little bit, and he's really cute, but I'm like, okay. I noticed that he has a daughter, and I'm like, never dated anybody with a kid before, but okay. Logically, we know that if he's there, there must be the mother of the child somewhere, right? But from his IG, it doesn't look like they're together. That's not where the story's going. He picks me up in his car, and I'm like, okay, he's kind of nice, whatever. Then he gets a phone call. Ring, ring. Guess who it is on the phone? The mother of his child. It took all of 2 seconds for this man to start yelling at this woman and cursing at her. If you know me, you know that I'm the biggest feminist and I'm always team baby mother. So no, don't yell at my sis on the phone. I don't care what it is. I honestly should have said, you can pull over here. I'm gonna go home now. I honestly should have had him just drop me home right then and there, but for whatever reason, I was like, let me actually give this a chance, which I know on my part, looking back at it, is so stupid. Red flag number 1, I should have been out of there. But for whatever reason, I continue on with the date, and honestly, he's really not winning me over on our ride to the movie theater. I'm kind of like, you know, when you're like hanging out with someone and you can already tell, yeah, I'm never chilling with this person again. Never gonna happen. I was already feeling those vibes. We get to the movie theater. It's this random movie theater that is dirty, disgusting, and deserted. So I'm like, oh, he took me here because he doesn't want to see me with anybody else. Bet. So all throughout the movie, he's trying to kiss me, hold my hand, put his hand on my thigh. I'm like, no, stop, chill. I literally had to be like, dude, you're doing too much. Chill. I said no. He tried to kiss me, dodged it, ended up taking me home, didn't even wait for me to get inside.
This is the story of the time I did makeup on a model, and she was one of the worst clients I ever had. Before I get into the story time, I just want to introduce y'all to my friend Hallie. I'm going to be doing makeup on her face today instead of mine, and we're going to be doing a purple e-girl inspired look. Okay, now let's get back to the story. This model was actually a close friend of mine a couple of years ago, and she had reached out to me as a local makeup artist to have me do her makeup for a special event. The model in question here was one of those girls who didn't really wear any makeup unless it was for a photo shoot or a very special occasion. That being said, she was used to having her makeup done pretty often. She had modeled in multiple magazines and has since then appeared in multiple online and in-store ad campaigns for several big-name brands. When she arrived for her appointment, she had already explained to me that she wanted to look pretty, but kind of like she wasn't wearing makeup at all. Believe it or not, doing a no makeup look was actually a pretty frequent request among my clients. Also, I want you to keep in mind that I had never done this girl's makeup before, and I just kind of assumed that she would be totally used to the entire process since she had gotten her makeup done so many times for photo shoots. A couple minutes before her appointment time, she had texted me to let me know that she would be just a couple minutes late. On this particular day, I had clients back to back to back, so I wasn't really upset about her being late. I was kind of excited to actually get to sit down and have a short break. Well, she ended up being almost 30 minutes late to her appointment. As soon as she did arrive, she asked me if I had anything to drink or anything to snack on because she was so hungry and parched. I went into my kitchen and grabbed her a bottle of water and some fruit, and when I came back, she was completely glued to her phone. Usually, I would advise my clients to keep their chins and nose pointed up towards the ceiling just to make it easier for me to get to their face. But no matter how many times I asked her to please lift her face, she was just completely glued to her phone. Even while I was doing her eyeshadow, she had her eyes open, and while I was working on her face makeup, she was eating the grapes and drinking the water like I wasn't even touching her face. I never want to be rude to my clients, and I always want them to have the most comfortable and fun experience as possible. I also try to avoid pretty much any confrontation, so I really didn't know what to do in this situation because half of the time I couldn't get to the part of her face that I needed to get to finish her makeup, and even if I could, her face was constantly moving from the chewing, texting, and drinking. Not only did I find this particularly difficult to work with, I also found it really rude. Because of all of the distractions, it ended up taking me about half an hour longer to complete her makeup. Keep in mind, she was also half an hour late, and it actually ended up pushing back all of my other appointments for the day. At the end of the day, she absolutely loved her makeup and she gave me a tip. But after that, I've refrained from offering my clients any snacks or drinks if I'm about to do their makeup, and I still thought it was kind of rude. What do you think? This is the story of the time it took me 4 hours to do my client's makeup because I got elevated before the appointment. Disclaimer, this is not my story time. It was sent to me on Instagram. Second disclaimer, I do not promote the use of any drugs or illegal activities. And I'm gonna need you to bear with me through this story time because obviously there are some words I cannot say on TikTok. I used to work at Sephora, and if you didn't know this, you can actually call the store and set up an appointment to have your makeup done. For me, this was a part-time job and I didn't work every single day. And if I didn't have an appointment to do in the store, I was just one of the people that walked around and tried to sell you makeup. But on this particular day, I woke up, thought it was Tuesday, which is my day off. So I had called my friends and asked if they wanted to maybe roll something up and pass it around a couple times. A few of my friends were free, so that's what we decided to do. And after the first one of my other friends was like, hey, I also have these really cool snacks if you're hungry. Since it was my day off and I didn't have any plans for the rest of the day, I was like, sure, I'll take a snack. Let me be clear, I was still elevated from the whole puff puff pass situation, but it was going to take a while for these snacks to kick in. We were just chilling on the couch. We had already called the pizza guy to come deliver us some pizza. And when I looked down at my phone, my manager was calling me. I thought they were probably shorthanded and she was calling me to ask if I could come in. So I just let the phone ring and it went to voicemail. A couple of minutes later, I get a text from my manager telling me that I have an appointment in 10 minutes and if I'm not up at the store, she's going to be very unhappy with me. I checked my calendar and she was absolutely right. It wasn't Tuesday, it was Wednesday, which means I did work and I did have an appointment. The only problem was, well, you know. I rushed up to the store as fast as I possibly could and my manager is already standing by the door waiting for me. Apparently, she didn't notice that anything was going on with me, so I just started doing the girl's makeup. And about halfway through, those snacks came back to bite me in the butt. I just kept doing her makeup and I was trying to do the best that I absolutely could. And most of all, I did not want anyone to notice that anything was going on with me at all. When I finished the girl's makeup and walked her over to the mirror for her to have a look, that's when I saw my face. My eyes were so red, they literally looked like they were gonna fall out of my head. And then I checked my watch. I had been doing this girl's makeup for 4 hours. And just when I thought I had gotten away with it, my manager walked up and told me the reason this appointment was so important was because that woman was actually her mom. I don't even know if I need to say this part or not, but yes, obviously I got fired.
I boiled my grandmother alive? Story time. Growing up, my grandmother would never let us have sweets. No cakes, no cookies, no candy, nothing. She would be like, I don't want you getting fat and I don't want you having rotten teeth, so you're not allowed to have that. And to make things worse, her kitchen would constantly be full of snacks and she would always be eating them in front of us. So one day, while she was watching us, I noticed that she had chocolate muffins. So of course, I asked her if I could have one and she said no. And then proceeded to pick one up and eat it herself in front of me. Like, damn, that's cold. So when she wasn't looking, I snuck a muffin, and it was really good. Until I got caught and she popped me in the hands. So obviously I get upset because I thought she was being ridiculous. So I plotted my revenge. I waited for her to get into the shower, and then I snuck into the bathroom. Creeped over to the toilet, and then I flushed it, causing her shower to become extremely hot and then boiling her alive.